Well, good morning, everybody. Pat Flynn here, coming up from the abyss for our live weekly Q&A, where you can ask me any questions you want about lifting, fitness, and life, and I will do my best to answer them poorly. Dan John is not with us. He is once again out of country. In fact, I think he's flying back here. Let me make myself visible to you. Hey, good to see all of you. Good to see all of you. Cheers. Let me know what you're drinking. We had a lot of fun last week. A lot of great questions, a lot of good conversation. So post whatever you have in the usual chat box. We'll jam around for a while. I got a few things I want to talk about first, including swing, other thing. That's right, my friends. One of my most beloved protocols is back on the scene. Swing, other thing. I want to tell you a little bit about this. I have a new video out on my other channel, Kettlebell Quickies, called Swing, Other Thing. And I want you to go watch it because it's good and stuff. So I'm going to share that in the comments. I'm getting up about one new piece of content over there per week, in addition to the live Q&As here. And Swing, Other Thing is super cool. So we're going to talk about that a little bit, and I'm going to answer whatever questions you throw my way. How's that sound? If you're looking for a really good minimalist, approach to training, you're going to want to stick around for this, because there's the train. There's the train right on time. There's a train. All right. Okay. So real quick, hey, before we dive right in, I want to mention something right now. For this week, we are running our Strong On Mega Sale. We do this usually twice per year, sometimes only once per year, where we have a big sale on Strong On memberships, and we have big discounts on quarterly, yearly, and even lifetime membership. And what might be of particular interest to all of you is we are actually giving away a free Swing, Other Thing training program to all Strong On members next month. So I'm not going to spend a whole bunch of time talking about this. All I'm going to say is it's really worth it. If you like what we're doing here, this is a great way to support the Pat Flynn Show and to get ongoing fat blasting, muscle boosting, minimalist daily kettlebell workouts from me. So head over to chroniclesofstrength.com/strongonmegasale. That's chroniclesofstrength.com/strongonmegasale. And that's where you can find all the details. It's good for the next couple of days. Please take advantage. You're not going to want to miss out on this. I promise you. Okay. All right. So as I said, I have a new video up on Swing, Other Thing. And I wanted to introduce you to this training concept quickly before we take some questions and jam around on whatever. Man, those first few sips of coffee in the morning. So what is SSOT? What is Swing, Other Thing? Well, this is sort of my my way of getting the most out of EMOM training. And EMOM stands for every minute on the minute. In fact, somebody commented on my my new video of Swing, Other Thing that Swing, Other Thing is the EMOM GOAT. It's the best way to do every minute on the minute training. So let me explain what I mean. So every minute on the minute training is where you perform some exercise for some number of reps or some amount of time at the top of the minute for some number of minutes. Could be 10 minutes, could be 20 minutes. Sometimes maybe it might even be 30 minutes, depending what you're doing, right? Now, on the clock training, EMOM training is really great for increasing workout efficiency. It's fantastic for building work capacity and endurance. However, it has some limitations. It can't do absolutely everything. One of the major limitations is it's hard to do a lot of sort of the heavier strength and muscle building efforts. Why? Well, simply because there's just not a lot of rest. So just think about it, right? If you're doing like 10 front squats with a significant amount of weight on the minute, every minute, man, you're not going to get very far with that. You're just if you're using the sort of intensity that you need to get the most out of that for strength and muscle, you're going to just get smoked. You're not going to be able to stay on the clock. So that's a limitation of EMOM training. You get what I'm saying? So what do you do? How do you keep the advantages of on the clock training while opening up the possibility for more versatility, for using EMOM training to build strength and to build muscle, to make it so it isn't just a conditioning or fat loss tool? And that's where Swing, Other Thing comes in. So very simply, Swing, Other Thing is this. You do a set of swings, and then you do some other thing. Get it? Swing, Other Thing. And in practice, what it looks like is this. So you would be on the clock. Minute 1, you would do a set of swings. Minute 2, you would do a set of swings. And then minute 3, you do some other thing. Okay, so what's up with this? What are we doing here? Well, it's actually kind of simple, right? The swings are awesome. Always is great to do swings, build kettle booty, burn a bunch of calories, increase your power and conditioning. However, they also allow you a sort of period of active recovery. So that way, if you're doing the other thing as a sort of strength or muscle building effort, say your other thing is a set of 10 front squats. Well, now you have more padding between your sets of squats, or maybe you're doing double presses. Now you have more padding, more time between your sets of squats and presses that you can go heavier and you can do more reps and you can stay on the clock. So you might do 10 swings minute 1, 10 swings minute 2, and then say, 8 heavy double presses on minute 3. Okay. Now, if you were to just try and do 8 heavy, double presses at the top of every minute, you're going to get smoked. You're not going to be able to do it. However, if you have, 2 extra minutes between, even though you're doing sets of swings, as long as you're not like doing a million swings, right? You just say 10 good hard swings, you're going to stay on the clock, but you're also going to allow yourself a little bit more recovery time between the sets of the really heavy stuff that you can stay on the clock and you can build a substantial amount of volume and use every minute on the minute training to build to become a very robust generalist. It doesn't have to just be for conditioning. You can use this for strength. You can use it for muscle. And of course, you can use it for mobility too. Dan Herman just says he loves the idea of SSOT. The possibilities are endless. I really think so. And of course, I'm going to be the last to deny the brilliance of a training program invented by Pat Flynn. I will take every compliment that you can send my way, and flattery will get you everywhere here. But this is really it. This is my solution because I'm somebody who loves on the clock training. I'm busy. You're busy. We're trying to be minimalists and just having, your routine set to a clock. It keeps you focused. It keeps, Parkinson's law at play, that work will kind of expand or contract to fill the amount of time allotted to it. So you're not being wasteful. You're staying focused. The intensity's higher, but there's those limitations of how do I train seriously for strength and muscle while staying on the clock. And the idea is you pad, your sets of heavy strength or muscle efforts with swings. It's brilliant. It's genius with a capital J, right? Am I right or am I wrong here? All right. So in just a minute, we'll jam on whatever questions or comments you guys want. Again, I have a whole new video on this, but I just want to explore a few other options here, give you guys some ideas that you can use and get awesome results with. Somebody commented yesterday on my video that this works really well for direct ab training too. And I want to agree with that. I want to strongly agree with that. So let me give you guys a way to do SSOT and build those big blocky abs that I know you're after. So it goes something like this. Minute 1, 10 swings. Minute 2, 10 swings. And then minute 3, you pick a high impact direct core exercise. And I'm going to give you a few options here. You could do ab wheel, somewhere between 5 to 10 reps on the ab wheel. Hanging leg raise, somewhere between 5 to 10 reps on the hanging leg raise. Or you could do hollow hold for, say, 15 to 30 seconds. Okay. Now there's options here. You could just do ab wheel the entire time through. Say you run this for, 9 to 20 minutes or something like that. I'll give you a range. Or you could alternate. You could do every third minute. You could alternate between ab wheel and hanging leg raise. So think about that. I mean, that's an awesome workout. You get a ton of swings in, 10 hard swings at the top of every minute. And then every third minute, you're doing some sort of like intense direct ab exercise. And those are kind of my 3 big hitters there. Some sort of hanging leg raise, ab wheel, and hollow hold. That's pretty sweet, guys. That works really well. It also makes ab training a lot more engaging. So I'd highly recommend that you try that. Another way that you can use swing other thing is to boost your pull-up numbers. It's really good for just straight up pull-up training, especially with ladders. So every third minute you do a set of pull-ups. Now, if you're already really good at pull-ups, you can do weighted pull-ups and you could do weighted pull-up ladders. So, maybe the first time you get to your other thing, it's just one heavy pull-up. Go back to your swings, then it's, once you're back to the other thing, it's 2 heavy pull-ups, 3, 4, 5. Maybe you ladder up to 5 and back down, and that's your swing other thing. So it works really well for pull-ups as well. With same with direct ab training. And a few other hacks or tips and tricks to get the most out of SSOT would be to think about the swings you're doing and how you might want to vary your swings or program the swing. So kind of like the simple default is just 10 swings, 10 two-hand swings, with like a 24 kilogram for men or 16 kilogram for women. Good. Like, can't go wrong with that, right? However, depending on the overall length or intensity of the session, you could also set a swing floor and ceiling. So it could be that every time you do your swings, you're going to hit at least 5 reps, but no more than 10 reps. And this is kind of a cool way to maybe gauge the length of your workout. So like if you're consistently and easily able to hit more than 10 reps, maybe you're going a little too light. Maybe pick up a heavier weight for your swings. But if you can't hit 5, if you're so gassed with 5, well, maybe your workout's gone too long. It's time to cut the workout, or you're just using too much weight for your swings. So having a floor and ceiling for your swings is a good approach for this as well. And of course, you can work in other swing variations. You could do start-stop swings. You could do single arm swings. And it doesn't have to be the same for minute 1 and minute 2. You could do something like, hey, minute 1, I'm going to do 5 power swings. You start-stop swings, same thing. Minute 2, I'm going to do 10 two-hand swings. And in minute 3, I have my other thing. Maybe I'm working pull-up ladders. Maybe I'm doing front squats. Maybe I'm flossing my cat. Whatever you want to do for that other thing. I'm not too picky about it. All right. Does that make sense? Is this helpful? How many of you guys have tried this out? I'd love to hear it in the comments. If you've actually done swing other thing, what did you do? And what did you think of it? Drop a comment in. All right. Now let's see what else you guys have to say here. Anthony says, hello. Ian says, hello, everyone. Looking forward to this. Me too, man. I'm always pumped to be here. All right. Zachary says, I'm doing some double 20 kilogram clean and press and front squats this morning. Thanks for keeping me company. Cheers, dude. Get those sets done. Be curious to hear how you're doing it. I had a great pressing workout yesterday. Feel great. Came home and I had a gigantic ribeye steak. So we got this air fryer thing, this Ninja, and I just threw a ribeye in there, and it was amazing. Like, just salt, pepper. Threw that sucker in there. Man, one of the best post-workout meals I've had in some time. Felt like such a man just destroying that thing. Such a man. In fact, I didn't even have this beard before I ate that steak, and then I just ate the steak, and there we go. Me says, greetings from glorious sunny Ireland. Is it sunny in Ireland? It's overcast in Wisconsin today. Dan says he's man crushing. My dude. All right, so here's a question. Steve says, you tease that you could use swing burpees and swing other thing. What range of reps would you recommend? Okay, so the swing burpee, let's just talk about what that is first. Sorry, hair's kind of going crazy today. The swing burpee is what I would generally like people to use instead of the standard burpee. And it's a swing with a level change and optionally a push-up. It's a swing with a level change and optionally a push-up. So the way you do a swing burpee is you would set up for a good two-hand swing. You'd perform 1 rep of the swing, part the kettlebell, come to the side and sprawl into a plank. So very important. You want to make sure you come to the side of the kettlebell. Otherwise, you're going to eat the kettlebell handle. You don't want to do that. So sprawl to the side into a plank, and then you can sprawl back up into the hike position, hike the kettlebell, swing again, and you repeat. So you swing, sprawl, swing, sprawl. So it's got this awesome conditioning level change effect. If you want the more advanced variation, after you do the sprawl, you can, of course, throw in a push-up. Now, if you're going to do swing other thing, why are my glasses crooked? What's going on? Is my head crooked? Sorry. If you're doing swing other thing and you want to incorporate the swing burpee, the first thing I would think about is, should I have the push-up in there? And if you have a pressing exercise for the other thing, I would say leave the push-up out. Just do the swing and the sprawl. So that's one thing to keep in mind. Like, if you have a set of heavy presses coming up, don't smoke yourself with the push-up version of the swing burpee. Okay. Otherwise, I think the swing burpee, push-up included or not, is a really good floor ceiling exercise for minute 1 and or minute 2, where as you're moving through the routine, you just try to stay within a range. People don't think about this that much, but having ranges rather than a specific rep target is a really effective way to train for a lot of workouts. It just makes a lot of sense. So something like, hey, I'm going to hit at least 5, but no more than 8 every time I have to do the swing burpee. And again, this is something where you could do the swing burpee for both minute 1 and minute 2, or you could do it just for minute 1 and then come back to standard swings for minute 2. So there's room to be creative and to explore there. But I'm a big fan of the swing burpee because I think training those level changes is important. It's good to be able to get up off the ground with slickness and ease. It obviously has a more powerful conditioning component. Reminds you of those old sort of up downs you used to do in middle school football practice where your big old fat redheaded coach was screaming and spitting at you. Good times. I miss those days, the glory days. All right, more questions. Let's keep going. All right, Anthony says, the only drawback of on-the-minute or EMOM work is it's easy to lose the technique and just chase the numbers. Yeah, man, that's what I'm talking about. So if you try to do certain things on the minute every minute, I don't care how strong you are, right? It's just that some efforts, if you're using the right intensity, no matter how strong you are, just demand more rest. And it's just inherently the case that your rest periods are condensed with EMOM training on the minute every minute. So the simple solution is, hey, if you're losing your technique, especially with these heavier strength moves and muscle moves, then just add a little additional padding, and you just do that with swings. So you're still moving at the top of every minute, but swings are these sort of nice. It's just nice. It's just a nice exercise to kind of keep the system, working as a whole. Swings are great for just sort of high volume, high frequency training, especially if you have good technique, but it still allows you to adequately recover so you can go heavy and still maintain good technique on those bigger lifts for higher reps. So I'm with you, man. Anthony says, I never flossed a cat. Have you ever swung a cat by its tail? Have you ever done that? Some lessons, my friend, can only be learned through hard experience. Jesse says, hey, Pat, I've been using tactical barbell while using kettlebells, 8-week base building, 2 times a week, clean and press, front squat, rows, RDLs as a chain, 2 to 3 by 30 workout with 50 reps. Light bells work for me. Awesome. I don't think there's a question in there, but if you're just looking for my endorsement, then I give you 2 perfects. I've never done tactical barbell. Obviously, my buddy Jim was very much involved in that, and Jim's a smart and strong dude, and I could be confident that anything he was involved in is going to be quality. So 2 perfects, Jesse. Keep it up. Steven says he's an SSOT vet. He did the armor building complex and loaded carries. Yeah, so there's another idea for swing other thing. Your other thing doesn't have to be just one exercise. It could be a complex. So armor building works really well for this. You could do minute 1, 10 swings, minute 2, 10 swings, minute 3, armor building. And armor building, of course, is 2 double cleans, 1 military press, 3 front squats. And you want to go heavy with it. And the cool thing about SSOT is it should allow you to go quite heavy with armor building, because you're going to have a good amount of time before you're back to your next set of armor building. So I think this is a really good way to just spice up your ABC training and get a little bit of extra conditioning in there. Loaded carries too are great. Here's a simple way to do that: 10 swings, 30 seconds of some sort of carry. And I like mixing up the carry variation. So I would say, maybe the first time I get to the other thing, minute 3, I'm doing a single arm overhead carry and a bell in the rack. So when I do overhead carries, I don't usually like to do or recommend double overhead carry. For overhead, if you're using 2 bells, 1 bell in the rack, 1 kettlebell overhead. It's a little bit more stable. You still get, I think, pretty much all the benefits. And then switch sides next set. Then go to just pure rack carry. So 2 kettlebells in the rack, 30 seconds. And then from there, just go to farmer's carry. So I like that down the chain sequence. You go overhead, you go rack, you go farmer's carry, and then you repeat every time you get back to your other thing. So I think it was Steven who said the possibilities are endless. Yeah, they really are, man. This is a really cool way to train for the minimalist, to get a lot of not just work done, but high quality work. That's what it's about. It's not about just getting work done, but work that actually works. We like work that works. Okay. What are you guys drinking? I've got my hot bean juice here. It is good today. All right, we're going to do a few more questions. I'm going to close this one out earlier today, not just because it's just me, but I've got a number of other projects I need to finish up. But I always have a lot of fun with you guys, and I appreciate you being here. All right, Zachary says, I'm working through the heavy day of Jeff Newpert's kettlebell Maximorum. Is that right? Is Maximorum, is that what it's actually called? Or is it Maximum? I don't know. Alternating sets of clean and press and front squat with a focus on auto regulation. So far, so good. So, yeah, love Jeff. Jeff's a great guy. He's been on this program before, this podcast, probably about 2 years ago, where we talked about auto regulation and how to use auto regulation in your training. So if people haven't seen that conversation, I'd recommend it. I'd like to have Jeff on again for a follow-up at some point. So maybe I'll have to send him a note. But yeah, man, can't go wrong with Jeff's stuff. Can't go wrong with Jeff's stuff. Can't go wrong with Dan's stuff. So, sometimes me and Dan, we can complain a little bit about, the state of the fitness industry and all the, charlatanism and stuff like that. But there's a lot of good people out there. There's a lot of good people out there doing a lot of good stuff. We can't forget that. All right. One or two more. Pat, how would you train a superhero villain, such as the comic book characters, the Punisher? Okay. Man, the Punisher. So I remember the movie with Tom Jane. That's old. That's an old movie. I know they've done something a little bit more recent with the Punisher, I think, as part of a TV show. I have not seen that. I don't remember how jacked or not jacked Tom Jane was in that movie. I remember thinking that movie was okay. Didn't hate it. Didn't love it. It was fine. It was a fine rental. Okay. So how would I train the Punisher? I guess this is like an anti-hero, right? And the first question is like, would I train an anti-hero in any sort of different way than I would train an actual hero? What is it about the anti-hero that would demand a different training approach than just like your straight up hero? I don't think anything. Not that I can think off of the top of my head. Well, dude, I mean, all right. So if you got to go around and you got to punish people because people need to be punished, right? Then I would, you know what I would do? I would put the Punisher on the Program Flynnimum straight up. I would say, hey, Mr. Punisher, I know you got some punishing to do tonight. You don't have a lot of time. You got to make sure that your training is effective and efficient. Watch this YouTube video. And I would give him the YouTube video on my Kettlebell Quickies channel for the Program Flynnimum. Why? Because it's got 2 to 3 days a week of very purposeful, functional strength and muscle building, 1 to 2 days a week of your real world conditioning, building up that work capacity. And then I would make sure that Mr. Punisher is just training whatever style of martial arts that he trains as frequently as possible, and that he's getting a good night's sleep, at least on the nights he's not out there doing his punishing. So the truth is, there's nothing really about a superhero or an anti-hero that would demand that I would train them like super differently than how I train a lot of people. And as somebody who's worked with special forces and Olympic athletes, I don't even train them crazy different than I train a lot of everyday people, because the idea is, if you're, whether you're military or you're an athlete, my job is to make sure that fitness is supporting your job rather than taking away from it. So I want to make sure that we are taking a minimalist approach. We're making you stronger. We're making you leaner. We're making you harder to kill, but we're not interfering with the specific tasks that you need to practice or that you need to perform, given what your job is, whether it's military or athletics or anything like that. So not the sexiest answer, but I think that's the correct answer. All right. 1 or 2 more. Sam says, hey, Pat, once more, I'm in a client meeting, but I'm watching, keeping the window open to help the algorithm out. Thanks, brother. I don't know how to beat this algorithm. I'm trying, though, especially on the Kettlebell Quickies. We're trying, and we're seeing some good success, but these algorithms are tough. The algorithms privilege the clickbaity nonsense, and it's just not my style. So I really do rely on all of you to kind of share and spread the word about all this stuff. All right, Maximorum. I guess that is the name of Jeff's program. That's a cool name. It's a cool name. Wish I came up with that name. All right. Arajit says, please suggest how a resistance band can be incorporated with kettlebell training. I mean, I really don't use them. Like, if you mean like how to incorporate it into kettlebell exercises, the only time I really use a resistance band, and I don't do it that often, would be for overspeed swings or power bomb swings. We actually talked about that last week. So if you didn't hear the conversation last week, just go fast forward to the section where we talk about power bomb swings. That's something you can set up with the resistance band. It's a little bit tricky, but I think it's kind of cool. I think it does help you to be snappier with your swings, to really get the feel of what a hard style swing should be like. Otherwise, I don't use bands with kettlebell training. I just don't. All right, last question. I'm out of here. KB says, hey, Pat, I'm a fat guy trying to lose weight. I've been following the Bare Flinnimum. Do you think following your routine 3 times a week would help for weight loss? Yes, dude. Yes. If you do the Bare Flinnimum 3 times a week, that your training is covered. The rest of the fat loss, I assure you, is going to be on the nutrition side. So I gave some basic nutrition guidelines if you're doing the Program Flynnimum for both losing weight or gaining strength and muscle. And what I recommend, I'll just reiterate it here for people who are curious, and for you, my good sir. You're doing the training program. Training stays the same, but what you're going to try to do is you're going to try to hit somewhere between a 10 to 20% calorie deficit. So you need to kind of calculate your calorie maintenance. Do it online just to get a rough estimate. That's good enough. Somewhere between a daily 10 to 20% calorie deficit, and depending on how aggressive you want to be or how much weight you have to lose, that should help you decide whether you want to be closer to 20 or 10%. If you got a lot of weight to lose, you can be more aggressive. If you're only a little bit fat, I recommend not being as aggressive. Okay, but there's 2 other things to keep in mind. Really 3 other things to keep in mind on the nutrition side. One is protein intake. I want you to consume your target body weight in grams of protein per day. So just to keep it simple, if you want to weigh 150 pounds, then try to consume 150 grams of protein per day. I mean, the protein intake and the calorie management are the 2 most important factors. And it's mutually reinforcing. When you focus on getting more protein, it's more satiating, helps you recover from workouts, and it helps you to hit the calorie deficit range easier. So they play well together. Eliminate hyperpalatable foods. Standard American diet crap. So if you just got rid of soda and bread, that's a great start. If you just got rid of soda and bread, that's a great start. The stuff that is so easy to overconsume, it's not very nutrient dense. It has a slogan, I bet you can't eat just one. Anything like that, get it out. Just get it out. And then finally, what I do recommend, especially if you're dieting down for longer periods of time, is to have a calorie cycle. And the easiest way to calorie cycle is a 5-2 split. So that means 5 days per week, you are trying to hit that 10 to 20% calorie deficit. And then 2 consecutive days, you just come back up to maintenance. You don't have to even go above maintenance. You could go a little bit above, but you want to make sure you're not blowing your overall weekly deficit. So I recommend pretty much back up to maintenance. Maybe have some more carbohydrates that day. And this is both very psychologically and physiologically useful for preserving lean muscle mass and just giving yourself a little bit of a diet break. We all need that every now and then. So the answer is definitely yes. Program Flynnimum will totally help with fat loss and body recomposition, but you have to make sure those nutrition principles are in play. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Do me a favor, check out the big sale we have going on over at chroniclesofstrength.com/strong on mega sale. I have a full swing other thing training program that you will get for free if you take advantage of this sale. That comes to all members of Strong On next month. So if you like this conversation and you're into SSOT, you're going to love it. You're going to love it because it's all spelled out. Lots of specific SSOT workouts. Free when you take advantage of the big sale we have going on, chroniclesofstrength.com/strong on mega sale. Do it up. We'll see you guys.